also, I've seen people at paint parties where the perfectionism holds them back, right?
That's a whole other one.
Okay, so I know I just wanted to put that out there because
we should really have series about this because it's important.
We will, because you see people just get frozen.
Yes,
in the perfectionism.
Yep.
If the lines aren't just right, or they can't get the colors just perfect, or they can't copy your painting exactly like it right.
They stress about it.
And I've heard you say to people over and over, just be yourself.
Yes.
Make it the way you want it. Yes. All right. So I just wanted to put that one in there real quick.
But you brought it up. This is how I deal with that. From the top of the class, my first thing is always to say, create as you are. That's my motto. That's what I expect of you in this classroom. That's what I expect of you to do. Just be you.
Welcome. This is Lifelines with Dr. Lori. I'm Dr. Lori Barker, and welcome to my channel where we talk about all things mental health, where my goal, my mission is to educate, encourage, and empower people when it comes to their mental health. And I'm so excited to welcome a guest today, Dr. Maryam Trebeau, and she is going to talk with us today about art therapy. So welcome, Maryam. So happy to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here. You and I go way back.
Yes, we do. We go way back. Good friends.
And this has been in the making for a minute. So
it has.
I'm excited that we finally get to sit down and talk about the stuff that we love.
Me too. It has been a while, and we've been going over all these ideas, and we keep coming up with more. So today really is just the first one, we hope.
The tip of the iceberg.
That's right, in a whole series. So you are an interesting combination of identities. You kind of have these two sides of yourself. One is the psychologist. So share with us a little bit about that side first, about your psychologist side.
So I have a PhD in developmental psychology. I've done psychology since, even high school in Europe. I was in France. So I did a master's in counseling and then a PhD in child development and psychology. So just have explored all the ways that children are growing and well or not well and why. So that's the academic background. And then I've been teaching in the Cal State system since I graduated in 2018. And so it's been mostly psychology. I've done psychology for a very long time until the art came back on the scene. But I started first with art and literature in Europe with psychology, and then things moved over to psychology for a long time. And I'll tell more about the art afterwards.
All right. So PhD in developmental psych and a master's in counseling. So you have that mental health side as well, with a focus really on children.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said you were very artistic from a young age, but you went the psychology route, and now more recently you're coming back to the artistic side. So tell us about Maryam the artist.
So mommy was an artist, like a visual artist, and my father was a musician, so art was in the house. So we've kind of been in that for a long time. But as many parents, my parents were a little afraid about the art career. So they said, nah, maybe not. What else are we going to do? So my sister and I are artists, but we've been just not practicing art because that was a fear for our future, which I understand, but that's going to be another.
I know, I was going to say that's show. Another episode, right? Yes. Parents who have creative children, but discourage them from taking that route because they're like, oh, that's not a real career. You can't make a living. Career. Okay, all right, we're going to put a pin in that one because that's a whole nother episode.
But the thing is that it's in your DNA. And so it's been with us, but we just have not been practicing. And I think as I was in graduate school, things came up a little bit, came back. Some episodes kind of brought back the need to draw. And that's an interesting one for the subjects that we have today. But I received encouragement of people who kind of saw some things and were like, why are you not doing more of this? But what really catapulted the going back into art fully was the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
And so I lost my position. I was working for the county at the time and all that. And so I had gone with my mother to a little sip and paint event a summer, and I loved it because it was a little studio. People were together, hanging out, painting, snacking and having a good time. And so when the question came, how long are you going to wait for work, right? There's no more academic hiring. It's frozen because of all this. What are we going to do? Just had this epiphany. I'm going to go back to the arts.
Okay.
So I needed that. I needed that for my own personal joy because that's something that I had kept under wraps for a really, really long time. Literally 15 years or so without touching a brush.
Wow.
And so I just gave myself space to finally call myself an artist, which was strange. But I accepted that and I kind of gave myself more space to do that. And I started really feeling good and great and just having all these things come back. I did not remember that I could paint like that.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Because I've seen your paintings. They're amazing. We should have brought some today.
I know. Well, maybe we can flash some videos.
Yeah.
So I gave myself more space. And then also I thought, you know what? I want to build a studio. And I want to build a studio where people will come and have a good time, like I had a good time at that little, paint party. So two things branched out of that, tough experience that we all went through with the pandemic. One, I decided that I was really going to be an artist and just let it out, let those fountains out of me. And then the second was a whole business. I literally built my studio and it evolves in a lot of things. Some of them involve art therapy. We're going to talk about that. Art classes, working with cities, also to create public art that is, again, inspirational and kind of talk about our culture and all that stuff. And so, and doing paint parties. So I do, I work for a foster care system, homeless children, or I work with corporate teams and do team building, always using art in ways that serve the community. So I sort of started merging things together that way.
So you are an entrepreneur because you have your own studio. And the name of your studio, I don't speak French, so I'm not going to try to pronounce it.
It's tough for everyone. I should have thought about that when I built the word. But it's called L'Expression Creative Studios. And so expression, because I want people to... By the way, our motto is create as you are. Because I want... And maybe that's a psychologist in me, right? But I wanted people to be themselves.
Yes.
To express themselves and not be judged for the way they paint or what they paint. And so that's it. Create as you are, l'expression, so that people can express themselves. And creative, because I really believe in creativity and how it heals people and how it helps people be themselves and how it builds community to help people stay creative, build them into creative people, foster creativity in children so they don't lose it over time. And that.
Absolutely. So yes, I've had you host paint parties for me. Yeah, and they're always wonderful. And I've attended several that you've done other places with other
Thank
people.
you.
So yes, it's always a beautiful experience.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Always. Yeah. So go ahead, talk about art therapy then. What exactly is art therapy?
So people, I think there's a misunderstanding in community what art therapy is, because we are immediately, when we hear the word therapy, we immediately think problem, trauma, and I have to have a problem to do that, to use that tool. But if you think about it, we've been doing art to feel good, to feel healed, to come together since the dawn of time.
That's true.
Right? I'm thinking about healing circles in ancient times. I'm thinking about people using symbols on their jewelry, on their clothing, in their houses, in caves, or we've been doing art as an expression of ourselves. Either it's been anger or joy or love, like all of our emotions are expressed into art. We put colors together and it changes a room.
Yeah.
Right? We the day you're wearing that blue dress versus the day you wear that yellow dress, you don't feel the same. So color is powerful, forms, symbols are powerful, and have always been used by humans as a means for expression and as a means of introspection. What's inside, taking it outside, or kind of dealing with what's inside by creating something. We can get understanding of the human mind by looking at what the human expresses on the page or on paper or through their creative.
So whether someone's like an artist or they define themselves as an artist or not, whatever they create, and we're all creative. That's another thing. Everyone, because people say, oh, I'm not creative. Everybody's creative. So whatever people create, there's something that it expresses about who they are as a person, like you said, about their mind, their psyche, or their emotions, what they've been through. Part of this grew out of trauma, like in wartime, and helping people express. Even today, art therapists go around to parts of the world where there have been disasters, wars, trauma, and they work with people there. And that's one of the things they do is art therapy to help them express the feelings about what they've been through. So it's really interesting.
Yeah. And so that was just expression and kind of observe human beings and stuff. But now it became more systematic and more scientific. There is a whole now science about it. And that's why it became part of therapy, because it's not just, oh, let's just paint. There's more to that now, because we realize that universally, people express certain things in a certain way when they use paint or when they use a shape or a form. There's things that are so common to humanity as a whole that it can be used to understand what people think.
So are you saying, let's say if someone's depressed, that people tend to draw or create art in a certain way when they're feeling depressed? Like what comes to mind for me is color. Right? Like I'm looking at your outfit, you're very colorful. So I know what I observe is when people feel good, they tend to be more colorful, right, in their expression. But when people are depressed, it becomes very muted, right? Like grays, black, beige, right? So is that what you're saying? Like that's
what I'm
something
saying.
Universal?
But let's take that with a grain of salt. Culture.
Okay.
Then can take a place there, right? If you're going to do art therapy with a Japanese or a Chinese group versus a group from the Western cultures, color can be very different, right?
Right.
In some in the in the voodoo culture or certain cultures, white is mourning.
White is death.
Right?
Right? Yes. So they wear white to funerals. Yes.
So you got to take that also with a grain of salt.
Yes.
Although there is really very common ways of expressing things across all humanity. When it comes to certain colors, for example, and things like that, you have to also be aware. And I know you love that because you wrote a book on cultural cultural counseling, where like we really have to be aware of that.
Absolutely. Yes. So give us some examples of art therapy tasks. Like if you had a client in therapy, what kinds of things would you do with them?
So a funny example from graduate school, those of you interested in that, I asked a bunch of kids from 6 to teenage, I think the oldest one was 18. Ask them to do 2 drawings. Draw yourself and draw how you would like to be.
So like their real self versus their ideal self, you're asking them to draw. Okay.
So there's a little bit of what we call projective drawing in there, where we're just asking them to see how they just give you what they think they look like, and then what they would like to be. I noticed that the little kids will draw superheroes.
For what they want to be.
Yeah, what they want to be,
cute.
they'll draw superheroes, right? Because they're in that phase. So you also have to, when you do these things, really be aware of the developmental trajectory. Because at this age, they want to, they don't have a sense of reality when it comes to the cartoons and the superheroes. They want to be that. They think they can be that. They think they can fly, or things like this. Now, it becomes interesting when you work with teenagers. Because teenage girls will draw themselves in the projective drawing, in the how would you like to be. They'll draw themselves with curves.
Okay.
More, which seems to be like, a desire or an understanding or a feeling that being grown up means having more curves. And then boys, what do you think boys draw themselves? Muscles, right? They are much wider. So this research was very interesting because we measured the first drawing and we measured the second drawing to see if there was a difference in size. And there's a big difference in size when it comes to boys and girls in certain areas of the body and things like that. But what I noticed looking at that is that even though, they're not professional drawers or artists, they are pretty accurate about the way they look. And then you'll have funny drawings like some kids drew themselves exactly the same and said, "I love me the way I am."
Oh, see,
that tells you a lot about what is going on in that child's mind, right? Yeah. Especially when we're growing up and we have these issues about body image. Art therapy in the sense of really interpreting what people feel about themselves, how they see themselves, how they project themselves, what they would like to be, right? We can go in all sorts of directions just studying. That just draw a person test. Yeah. Very simple.
Interesting.
And now I'll give you others that I did with different groups. So I worked with women, and I gave them, I'm going to have you do one.
But you're going to have me do
something? Yeah, I'm going to have you do some stuff. So I gave three different kind of exercises. One of them was draw a bridge, draw yourself somewhere without giving more details. Draw a bridge with water and draw yourself somewhere. And I had this sister, I'll come back to her, and she's drawing herself with 1 foot on the left side, 1 foot on the right side of the bridge, and the bridge is broken. And the bridge is going apart. And her legs are going apart, too. Wow. And that was such a strong and striking image.
That's a powerful image,
I said,
yes.
Kira, just share what's going on. And she said, I have this decision to make, and I've been stuck in it for a whole year. I do not know what to do. And that's it. And I was like, okay, so you have to be a little creative with it. Yeah. So we have tools as art therapists, but you do have to be a little creative. And so I asked her, would you like to write how the left side feels and now how the right side feels? Okay. Just give me words and adjectives and feelings about what these two sides feel. And I left her there for 20 minutes. And I took care of other ladies that were there. And I came back, sat down with her, and she had these descriptions on each side. And she said, you know what? I needed this. Now I think I know what I want to do.
Look at that. Look at that.
I'm not taking the credit. I'm just telling you just this time that she could finally sit down with herself and her thoughts and really lay them beside each other gave her the solution.
Yes, but look at what prompted that, right? You gave the task, draw the bridge with water and put yourself somewhere, right?
Somewhere, yeah.
So that is sort of, to me, what opened her up to be able to. And then because I think this is important. Like once you give the task, the debriefing of the task or the next step, right? So she draws the picture, but then you gave her the next assignment, which was, okay, now use the words, write these two different sides of the bridge. And her doing that helped her come to a decision. That is amazing.
And that's the power. So we talked about this earlier. We often undermine art as, it's a hobby, or only artists are into that. She was not an artist, but she did her best on her sketch, and it's that time that she could spend with her own mind.
Yes.
Finally, like just alone with it, because I left her alone. Like I did not do overanalyze and again, in a real professional setting, I would take her and journey with her through all of these thoughts and all of that stuff, right? So this was a quick one time with a group kind of short exercise, but that brought a lot. There was another one. So I had different stations. Another one was just emojis. And I had an emoji wheel, and then I asked them to make the emoji wheel and all that, and then kind of choose which emoji they're sitting in most of the time in the week.
Okay.
And this woman was like, I chose the anger emoji because that's the one, that's where I am all the time. And I was like, wow, what's just, if you want to share. If not, it's fine. And she was like, I'm angry with my children and I'm angry with my husband all the time, and I need to do something about it. So we talked a little bit, we left it there. We didn't do an analysis. We didn't do psychotherapy about it and all that. But through just doing that, she was like, I'm really aware of this, and this bothers me, and I need to do something about it.
So in therapy, you would be able to explore that with her, but at least for her, that was the motivation, right? The prompt to kind of get her like, okay, I need to do something about this. So I guess at those groups, would you provide resources for people, like where they could go and what they could do afterwards?
Yeah, that's part of the way we're trained, right?
Right. The referrals.
So I had a sheet with all sorts of information that I gave out after that to say, hey, if you really, feel like you've discovered something today and you're in pain, you need support, you need to talk more about it. We have this group in church that does that, and that whom you could talk to. But other than that, here is a phone line. Here is, just giving a little bit of resources to do that. But like when you get to sit down in your studio with a person as an art therapist and follow, art becomes this awesome prompt. And one thing that I love about it, and I think I love it across all of my activities, like when we do paint parties and things like that, art is non-threatening in this context. Okay?
I was going to say, is it non-threatening for everybody?
Okay. No, we can talk about that.
Because I just wonder, like, are there some people that they're so, like that creative side of them has just been so crushed that they're afraid to even try?
I want to speak for like 5 hours. There's so much to say about
it. All right, that's another one. We can put a pin in that one. So
let's put a pin and talk about this in 1 minute. But non-threatening in the sense that we use color forms and pretty flowers and trees and whatnot, right? Bridge with water and things. So I'm not necessarily, if I sit in front of you and say, talk to me about your problems.
I get it. Okay, yeah.
And if I sit in front of you and say, can you draw a tree and a bridge and a...
Yes, yeah.
I divert your mind a little bit. I take some of those walls down.
Got it, yeah.
The process of making art is extremely good for brain chemistry. For breath, you tend to breathe a little slower. You take your shoulders down. You have this... There's something... Everybody coming out of our paint parties and stuff says, I needed this.
Yes. Because you get so focused, right? I'm thinking of mindfulness, right? You're in that present moment and you're focused on that activity. Because I know you've seen me when I'm painting, right?
Yes.
You just get so in the zone on what you're doing. Yes, it definitely, it is refreshing. Like it's restoring. It's restorative. Restoring. That's it, right?
And relaxing. Yeah. So most of the time. It helps me to get you to a place where you're not so guarded and like stressed out about what we can talk about. and it comes out a lot easier. We have that, I don't know if you've heard this, but we call it a campfire effect, when you can get somebody to do something with their hands and stuff. They're less resistant with just talking to you.
Yes. True. With kids, sometimes, like, when I used to do play therapy, sometimes we would take the kids to the recreation room and play pool, or we take them outside and play basketball, so that while they're focused on that other activity, it's easier for them to talk. And sorry, my brain's just going back here again, because also I've seen people at paint parties where the perfectionism holds them back. Right?
That's a whole other one.
Okay, so I know. I just wanted to put that out there, because
we should really have series about this, because it's important.
We will, because you see people just get frozen.
Yes,
absolutely. In the perfectionism.
Yep.
If the lines aren't just right, or they can't get the colors just perfect, or they can't copy your painting exactly
like it
right.
Is. They stress about it.
And I've heard you say to people over and over, just be yourself.
Yes.
Make it the way you want it.
Yes.
All right. So I just wanted to put that one in there real quick.
But you brought it up. This is how I deal with that. From the top of the class, my first thing is always to say, create as you are. That's my motto. That's what I expect of you in this classroom. That's what I expect of you to do. Just be you. There's no grading. And then I use this joke. I said, did you see this guy putting a banana on the wall and calling it art? So from that to what you're going to do today, there's a breadth of things, and I am not judging you. I want you to just paint. Just paint. And I also say things like, you do not have to paint exactly like me. You do not have to use my colors. If you want to paint something completely different than what we're doing today, it is fine. Because my objective is for people to just be in this creative moment and take it a notch down from where they're coming from. Society and all our pressures, our 25 jobs and all that stuff. This creative moment is the restorative moment, because I know they're going to breathe. I know they're going to laugh around with other folks and stuff like that. So I'll give you an example for the stress part, and then I can have you do a little practice.
Okay.
So I do team building. I use art and therapeutic techniques to do team buildings, to help teams bond, trust each other, communicate, be maybe more productive. We learn about leadership and things like that doing art therapy. So one of the trust one is interesting. Now it's going to be on the out, but I don't tell them what I'm going to do to them. So I bring the teams together, I give them a cool picture, and they just paint, and they're having fun, and they're drinking and snacking and having all that good times. I make them as comfortable as I can make them feel in my space, and then they go. 20 minutes into it, I say, all right, now, you're painting, you're going to take it, and you're going to give it to the neighbor.
Yeah.
Like the initial reaction to that, you have all sorts of reactions. And I watch the team there.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have people who will be like, oh, yeah. And others who will be like, oh, absolutely not. And I've had only one time, really, this lady who was like, it was more than just I don't want you to touch my painting. It was a dread. Like a dread. Like I really, and you got to be a little trained to understand body language. I really saw the dread in her whole soul. Yeah. And you used the word frozen earlier. She was frozen. I knew she was not going to be able to do it. And she really started panicking and just saying, so I went close to her and I asked her, what's going on? How do you feel right now? And she's like, I can't. My work is not good enough.
Yeah, that one.
I'm not an artist. All I can do is lines. Mind you, I'm working with a team. So I also have this conversation with the crew and I say, hey, once the initial like gasp comes out, I explain we're working on trust. If you cannot trust yourself with somebody else's work, and if you cannot trust others with your work, how can you work together? So yeah, we're having fun, but I'm dealing with the real issues right here.
Exactly.
So
go back to the lady who was
yeah,
in dread, right?
yeah.
Because I've seen that too in your classes, is the shame that people who are not just embarrassed of their work, but it seems like they're ashamed of it. Like people who, once their painting is done, like they'll turn it down.
Yes.
Or
Not want to take the group picture.
Not want to take the group picture and hold their painting up. So yeah, that I think you see that come out too, right?
Absolutely.
That struggle that people have with the shame of feeling like their work isn't good enough. Yeah.
And so I spoke about the fact that we need to trust each other and try to, move. And so what we did was I took her outside. I took a minute. I took her outside, and I brought it to her awareness. I said, you see, you're with your team and you don't trust yourself and you don't trust them with that piece and moving it around. And she's like, but I can only do lines. And I said, then do the best line you can ever make on every painting that comes your way.
And you know how many artists only make art with lines?
Because it didn't matter what it was.
Exactly.
What was mattering, I'm making up words. What mattered in that space was not the art. It was the trust of the team to get it. So every 2 minutes after that, and I gave them some pressure, I was ringing a bell and I had them just move the painting, so that you saw your paintings maybe 5, 6, 10 times. Everybody in that pod, I cut them in pods of 4. And so that's what we did. We just, at the end, I have them all look at it and every piece was awesome.
Yeah.
But it took a lot of, and now let's go back to type A personalities and all that, right? You have people who very early as kids explore the page and they just go and they go outside and they don't mind being outside the lines. And then you have the little kids who are like painstakingly doing every stroke very cleanly. When you have 2 people like this in a team, it's very hard to work together.
True.
Because some of them want the work to be really, and will take a lot of time painstakingly making sure that every detail is taken care of. And then you have the broad vision kind of guys who are like, it doesn't matter how we get there, let's just get there, right? It's very hard to work together when you have that in the team. So the job of the art therapist in this sense is to take down some of these barriers and that everybody realizes it does not matter how I feel about my work and all that stuff. At the end of the day, we can make these beautiful pieces together. And it's acceptable to have a painstakingly detailed work. And it's acceptable to have a very brush strokes abstract kind of work all together on the same canvas.
Yes.
And that is powerful. I promise you, teams come out of this like, what just happened? But they also laughed with each other, had a good time with each other. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not all rosy, right? We're dealing with teams. So if we work with them one time, we did not fix the problems. Right. But we made them aware and we have a conversation about it. Right, in the future, as you deal with each other in each other's work, how will you deal with? Will you accept? Will you trust yourself a little bit more? Will you trust your team a little bit more to get the work done? Yeah. And as you can see, when you resist a little bit less and kind of let it flow around you, let that work flow amongst you, work gets done.
So again, it's a catalyst, right? We said prompt before, but it's also a catalyst, right? To, like you said, it's not going to solve all their problems, but help them become more aware of some things, to see the benefit of everybody's different personality styles and how
Yes.
they can still all come together and create something beautiful.
Yeah, and when you do paint parties, you're talking about personalities. You can see personalities. I can tell who's who just by looking at how they paint.
How they paint. Yeah, I won't ask you to interpret my paintings. So.
Yes.
Oh, but now you're going to have me do something. So you so you are going to interpret my work. All right, here we go. All right, vulnerable moment for me. I'm going to do my own art here.
I'll do it with you.
Okay,
I will do it with you. Okay,
together.
so we're not going to do the full thing. You know, usually I have people also. Well, we can do a little bit of it. Okay, here are some colored pencils.
Okay, so we won't interpret my colors. Which colors I choose.
Well, I won't tell them. I won't tell them what I interpret out of your drawing. But this is a fun example that I like and that is very telling also.
Okay.
That helps people really take a minute to think about themselves. And the beautiful thing about art therapy is that you can use that across all ages. I have worked with little kids. I work with elderly. I have worked with people with autism. You know, you can work across all groups with this. It's very freeing in that sense. Because I can be fluid and I can adapt my approach to whoever I'm working with. And so if I'm working in the Latino community versus the Black community, if I work with only women, if I work with women who lost their child to gun violence, or I can work with the homelessness community and things like that, I can adapt what we're doing.
Right, and corporate, like you just talked about working with corporate teams.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
Okay, so here's what you're
What am
going
I
to do.
doing?
You're going to put your left hand and your right hand on your page, kind of see where they are, and you're going to outline your hand.
Okay. So outline my hand.
And you do that also. So you do that for both hands. You just outline them.
I just had a flashback to elementary school.
Exactly. And I love it. I love to take people back to kindergartners. Because guess what? That's when we were unbridled and creative. As we grow up, when you get to these teenagers, they don't want to be creative anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big problem.
It's been crushed out of them. That's
Yep.
why I just described it.
It's been absorbed by mathematics and English. We're not going to even address education.
Okay,
and
I have
the
my
arts.
outline.
You have your outline. Of the left hand,
Yes.
you're going to write keep.
Keep. K-E-E-P.
The word keep.
Keep. Okay.
And at the bottom of the right hand, you're going to write let go.
Oh boy. Okay. Let go. Can I put an exclamation point?
Yes.
Okay. Keep.
Yeah. So at this time, I would actually have the person just draw around, make these hands pretty.
Okay. So I have to beautify my hands here.
Beautify your hands. Make them pretty. So I'm gonna go just crazy because that's me. I'm the one who would just go no details. So this is the time where I'm gonna use that time to talk to folks.
So sorry. What I draw on the left is supposed to be what I want to keep.
I will tell you more about this right now.
Now I'm just
Yep.
making my hands pretty.
Because remember, I'm taking down some of that guard.
Of my own perfectionism is coming into play here. So I'm gonna draw fast. It doesn't have to be perfect.
It doesn't have to be perfect. So now, you're going to write words on each of these hands, okay?
Okay.
And in the keep, you're going to write all of the things in you and around you that you need to keep to go on in life.
Are these like personal characteristics or are these people?
All of it. People, things, circumstances, in your head, things that you need to keep to be a better version of yourself, like for your success, right? For the future, for for you to keep thriving,
Mm-hmm.
for you to do better, like the good things that are there that you think you need to explore more. So I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
I'm a vegan,
Yeah.
but I do eat a lot of sugar.
Okay.
So I need to keep veganism, right? I need to
Yes.
keep eating healthy. So
And
I'm
let
gonna put
go. So you're gonna let go of the sugar.
and let go of the sugar. So on the let go side, you're gonna write people, things, circumstances, habits that you need to let go of to do better in
Okay.
your life,
Okay.
better with yourself, to thrive better. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So think about that. For example, when I work with people who have addiction,
Yes.
right? Think about the things that they're going to write in that let go side.
And look how many pencils I have in my.
She's ready. I think we're going to take the time to do this exercise together. For real, for real.
Okay.
All right.
All my different colors. Yeah.
Give me a couple on the let go side, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
What I would do is tell people you can share or you don't have to share, right? If it's just me and one person, then we'll talk about it. If it's a group, they have to feel comfortable sharing, right? Because sometimes on that let go side, I get very, very, very deep things, right? Very personal things, very hurtful things, or, things like that. I've had a woman once say, I need to let go of my father. Because her father was just very toxic and brutal, and she needed to just let that person out of her life to be able to survive. All right? It could get really deep. So for me, I didn't say anything but healthy eating, and then on the let go side, I have sugar. I put it out in the public now. I better deliver. But so I just wrote casually, but people would write very pretty things all along the fingers and just anywhere. And then look at Lori's. All right.
You want me to say what I did? Yeah. Okay.
If you're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. Okay. So once you explained to me what I was doing, okay. So I did it on the fingers. So on my keep side, I have family, spirituality, creativity, curiosity, friends.
So let me ask you these questions. When you say you need to keep creativity, is that something you need to do more of, or is that something you already do and that helps you?
Something I already do.
Okay.
So I'm keeping it because that's like one of my core values, or something that I enjoy. And I think there have been periods of my life, graduate school, where I wasn't able to really express that creative side of myself. So yes, that's something I know that I need to nurture and continue. Okay. What else do you want to ask me about?
Nothing. You go
Okay.
go on
You
with
want
the
me to
let
go?
go hand.
Okay,
Yeah.
let go side. Let go of fear. Let go of inactivity, meaning I know I need to exercise more.
Oh.
Let go of stress. I'm at that phase in life. I'm close to retirement. I really don't want to do what I don't want to do anymore. It's time to let some stuff go.
That's it.
That I just don't want to do anymore. Let go of expectations. And when I thought of that, I think of people. Like sometimes I get very frustrated when like things or people don't go the way I think they should, or they're not doing what I think they should be doing. When I just need to let go and just let people be who they're going to be, or just let situations be the way they're going to be, right? So I think some of my stress comes from the expectations I have of
Nice
people
connection.
or situations, right? Okay, so that's as far as I got with the let go.
And so just out of that, you can see how our conversations could go for hours, right?
Yes.
And then I'd ask things like, what are specific things that are contained in that box of fear? Like, we would talk about that. and maybe it's retirement, and maybe it's, stuff like that. How about that stress? And you already made the connection yourself. You see, when people speak to you, they already make the connections for you.
Right.
All you have to do is continue explore that with them, right? And then ask them, all right, how about expectation? Or how have you been disappointed? Around you and things like that. And we can just go on and on.
Every one of these, right? Like as a therapist, I think we could have a whole session on
just
each one of these things. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yes,
that was fun.
That was fun
doing that, right? And this is something you all can do on your own at home, right? This is a real easy one. Just trace around your hands and do what Dr. Maryam just described, right? So thank you for sharing
You're
that.
welcome.
And thank you so much for just this whole thing, right? Introducing us to what art therapy is and how it's used and how it can be helpful. And again, I think this activity showed how it's easy to just start on your own, integrating it into your own life. You don't have to go and see an art therapist, but maybe you want to look for classes in your area. Look for paint and sip, right? Host a paint and sip party for your friends to give them this opportunity.
Call expression.
That's right. If you are in the Southern California area where we are, you can call L'Expression Studios. You can contact Dr. Maryam. She has her own YouTube channel, and we have a part 2 for this conversation. So it's going to continue, but not here. If you want to see part 2, you have to go over to Dr. Maryam's channel. And what is the name of your channel? Did I say it correctly?
It's literally the same. It's L'Expression Creative Studios, and we are on YouTube. We have this beautiful channel where we interview artists, and then we're building it into just having interviews with interesting people like yourself who have an understanding of art being integrated, how art is integrated in their own field. Because art is not just for artists. Art is everywhere.
Exactly.
And art is powerful. So I want to show the power of art in other people's professions besides being an artist.
So, yes, it's powerful, so powerful. Thank you for giving us just a little taste today of how powerful it can be. Yeah. And thank you so much for taking your time to be here. And thank you all for watching. And again, please visit both our channels, subscribe to our channels, and get out there and keep being creative. Take good care of yourselves. We'll see you in part 2, the next episode.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.